What is going on, New York Yankee fans? Welcome back to another video on the Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel. Hit the like button for me, subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff, turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. We are 5 subscribers away from 1.7K. We'd like to get there before the end of the year, so please do us a favor and hit that subscribe button and share out to people who haven't subscribed either. So, whether we like it or not, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is not a Yankee. Went to the Dodgers. If you want to blame Cashman or Hal, your opinion serves you however you want it to. But the Yankees will still need to be looking for starters. The rotation of Cole, Rodon, Cortez, and Clark Schmidt really don't do anything for me. There's been talks about bringing Frankie Montas back, which I'm not really crazy about. And the bullpen, you could use a little bit of an adjustment. But right now we're talking about starting pitching. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 starting pitchers that the Yankees could go after as far as the free agent market and one on the trade market. A lot of these names are familiar, so it's not going to be someone we just pull out of the rough or anything like that. But I want to give a shout out to our members, Brad, Jewis, Potato, Bill Hartnett, Jetsmith Mess, Tuda Wazuri, and Joe Giampetro. Those guys are part of the transparent ones, and you could be a transparent one too and get access to exclusive stuff here on the YouTube channel by clicking the join button. But let's get into it. So we'll start off with number 1, and that is Blake Snell. Now, he's not the most popular candidate, but he is, I would say, the top pitcher on the market right now with Yamamoto gone. You've also had a couple other guys go, but smaller deals. So as for Snell, the overall profile on him, and we'll go on to Baseball Savant too. He is, let's see, this year is 2023. Birthday about a few weeks ago. So he is 31 years old. Spent most of his career in Tampa, then went over to San Diego last year. He had a very good year, 14-9. 2.25 ERA, 180 innings pitched, and 234 strikeouts with an opposing batting average of 181, which is his lowest since 2018 with Tampa Bay. Now, the problem I have with Blake Snell, and we'll get into a couple other different things as well, is his walk rate. Again, we'll get into that and the consistency over the last few years. But to give him a full profile here as far as his pitches, four-seam fastball, he throws that 48.6% of the time, curveball 19.8%, changeup 18.4%, and slider 13.1%. As far as how he used those pitches, how hitters, obviously went against those pitches in 2023, hitters hit 255 against the fastball, 65 strikeouts, 7 home runs, whiff percentage of 19.5, 18.6 put-away percentage. Curveball struck out 109 hitters with that, only 3 home runs, 0.79 batting average against. That was the second most used pitch, so that was pretty good. 56.3 whiff percentage, 33.5 put-away percentage. Got the changeup, which is the third most used, 26 Ks, 2 home runs given up, 185 batting average, 26.3 put-away percentage, 46.8 whiff percentage. And slider, that's the least commonly used pitch, 3 home runs given up, 123 batting average, 53.6 whiff percentage, and 25% put-away rate. So that's Blake Snell in terms of analytics and stuff like that. Now, number 1, I'll say this. Consistency happens to be an issue of mine in regards to Blake Snell, because before this year with San Diego, and I get it, San Diego's not the greatest team in the world. I think they failed with a lot of superstars. 8-10, 3.38 ERA. The record's not great. The ERA could be better at 3.38, but his opposing batting average 216, that's not bad, right? 2021, 4.2 ERA, again, not great, 7-6, 128, innings pitched, 214 batting average, that's actually pretty good, and 170 strikeouts, 69 walks, which actually is not the most in his career. It happened to be this year at 99 walks compared to 234 strikeouts, so it seems like it's going up. His walk rate was at 13.3%, again, 99 walks, and it was one of the highest among qualified big league starters and was the highest walk rate in any season he's pitched in the MLB since coming in in 2016. So that's not great right there. And do the Yankees really take that risk with Blake Snell? And I would be okay with it as far as going after Yamamoto. I personally may have given him the money. I know a lot of people differ on that opinion, but Snell, I just don't feel the same. I feel like he has a type of whininess. I feel that he wouldn't last in New York because I feel like maybe one or two bad starts, the fan base would get on him and he would kind of snap back. I thought he had a little bit of an attitude back in Tampa Bay. Now, obviously, him being taken out of that World Series game was not his fault, but there's some projections out there as to what a contract could look like. Either 122 over 5, which is about 24.4 mil, which is, I'd probably go around there, or 28 mil, which is 200 over 7. I wouldn't touch 28 mil with Blake Snell. I personally wouldn't go after him. I know a lot of Yankee fans feel the same way I do. It's just something I'm going to pass on, to be completely honest with you guys. So let's hit a familiar foe with Jordan Montgomery. Right, he obviously started his career with the Yankees, got traded in 2022 to the St. Louis Cardinals, didn't have the greatest start in 2023 with the Cardinals, ended up getting traded to Texas and winning a World Series. And there's a lot of controversy there, which we'll get into, of course, between him, the Yankees pitching coach, and, of course, Brian Cashman, who I believe had some comments to say after he left. But anyway, as far as Montgomery goes, the full thread last year, he was 6-9 with the Cardinals, 3.42 ERA, total of 108 strikeouts, 250 batting average against, which isn't great. You like that a little bit lower, and 121 innings pitched. Then he goes to Texas, 4-2, 2.79 ERA, 67.2 innings pitched, total of 58 strikeouts, 13 walks only, which I think is solid, and a 240 batting average against, which averages out to 247 on the year, 10-11, 3.2 ERA, 188.2. And then just to reference it, of course, you do have his St. Louis second half compared with the Yankees' first half in 2022. He was 6-3 with St. Louis, 3.11 ERA. I think that's when they still had Schilt, if I'm not mistaken. 232 batting average, total of 61 Ks, 13 walks. And then the Yankees beforehand, 3-3, 3.69, 114.2 innings pitched, 236 batting average against, 97 strikeouts, 23 walks. So you go into Baseball Savant quickly with him. Sinker, that is his primary pitch, 42.6. So obviously coming off of last year. Changeup, 23%. Curveball, 22.2%. Fastball, 10.7%. And cutter, 1.5%. To go over how hitters did against those pitches last year, as far as the sinker goes, 255, 54 strikeouts, 6 home runs, whiff percentage of 14.1, 18.2 put away percentage. Changeup, as far as that goes, 5 home runs allowed, 239 batting average, 40 strikeouts off of that, 39.2 whiff percentage, and 20.8 put away percentage. Curveball, right? He had 55 strikeouts off that pitch, 5 home runs, 191 batting average, whiff percentage 37.1, put away percentage of 20.9. We got the fastball. Hitters were 333 against it, 1 home run, 12 strikeouts, 19.5 whiff percentage, 15.8 put away percentage. Lastly, cutter, total of 5 strikeouts, 1 home run off of that, 417 batting average, 31 whiff percentage, 29.4 put away percentage. So I've kind of calmed down my ideology in terms of getting Jordan Montgomery because it's made me realize a couple of different things. The projected salary for him right now, or the contract rather, is about $21 million per year. And there's a lot, again, of feeling between the two sides that may not be, hey, I want to go back to this place, or hey, we want Jordan Montgomery back. Now, there are rumors that the Yankees would be interested in a reunion, but there's a lot of things that went on after he was traded, right? They said his fastball wasn't good, so they made him stick to the sinker a lot. They didn't see him as a playoff rotation guy. That's big. Even though that was kind of proven wrong with Texas, they traded him for Harrison Bader, who ended up being an injured outfielder, and their analytics department, they're probably still questionable about him. And to be honest with you, here's what I ask, right? You want to pay that money to Montgomery or whatever, right? I just don't know what his ceiling is. I don't think it's very high, my personal opinion. And, a team could go out and obviously pay him or whatever, whatnot. And if the Yankees get him, I wouldn't be mad. But if they give him something really like over the 20 or 21 mark, I would be a little bit pissed because we've seen Montgomery before. I honestly think that his Texas stint was a little bit of an anomaly. Now, you could disagree with what the Yankees did with him. I just don't think that he's that type of pitcher that you should go after in free agency like that. And I think there's still some feelings in between. But to be fair, I've soured on Montgomery a little bit. Again, if the Yankees get him at the right price, fine, but I just don't see him returning. The next guy is a questionable guy. That's Lucas Giolito, obviously known for being an Angel, White Sox, National, all these different things, right? So last year, 8-15, 4.88 ERA, 204 strikeouts, 184.1 innings pitched, and an opposing average of overall 240, which isn't bad. Now, my problem with him is consistency, but we'll go over his baseball savant stuff. So, four-seam fastball, 41.9% of the time, changeup, 28.3%, slider, 28.2%, and 1.5% on that curveball. Four-seam fastball last year, 262 batting average off of that, 81 strikeouts, 19 home runs, put away percentage of 20.5, and whiff percentage of 20. Changeup, 209 batting average, 65 Ks, 13 home runs. 35.2 whiff percentage, 21 put away percentage. You go to the slider, 236 batting average, total of 56 strikeouts, 9 home runs off of that. 34.5 whiff percentage, 20.1 put away percentage. Lastly, a curveball, 500 batting average, 1 strikeout. One strikeout, no home runs, 7.7 put away percentage, 20 whiff percentage. So, Giolito, right? I feel he's fallen off over the last few years. It's not an unpopular opinion to say such things because he started his career, right? You know, obviously that 1 year in Washington, moves over to the White Sox, and they were an interesting team and not in a good way for most of his tenure. And he was good. Like, he was that silver lining pitcher despite the White Sox being bad. And the only year that they were good was, 21 when they had Tony La Russa at the manager spot, and then everything went still downhill from there. But, the records and the ERAs were pretty solid up to a point, right? 2017, I think most of the year he was injured, but 3-3, 2.38 ERA. The next year, 2018, 10-13, 6.13 ERA, 32 games started. 2019, 14-9, 3.41 ERA in 29 starts. 2020, 4-3, 3.48 ERA. 2021, 11-9, 3.53 ERA in 31 starts. And then this is kind of where it hits a total downhill. It's the falling action of this. 2022, 11-9, 4.9 ERA, 272 opposing batting average. You move to Chicago. 2023, that's his first team that he's with. 6-6, 3.79 ERA, 232 batting average. While I say that, it actually gets worse from there in the times that he spent with LA and Cleveland, both 6 starts each. With LA, 1-5, 6.89 ERA, 258 batting average, 34 strikeouts, and 15 walks. And then it gets worse with Cleveland, who also didn't make the playoffs. 1-4, 7.04 ERA, 248 opposing batting average, which is a little bit better, but 39 strikeouts and 16 walks, which, stats comparable-wise, the ERA is worse with Cleveland. The record is better with Cleveland. The opposing batting average and the strikeouts, they're better with Cleveland. But I just feel like I don't know if the Yankees can properly fix him. He's got some good stuff, but at the same time, I feel like if the rotation doesn't do as well as we think it will, I just don't think it's going to be smart to put him in a Yankees uniform for a certain price, right? According to CBS Sports, he's projected to get $19 million over 2 years, which equals $38 million. Now, I'm not really comfortable with that, to be honest with you, because he hasn't shown consistency. Injuries are in his past, and Montgomery's projected at 21 per, $2 million minus that. Giolito, who's, a worse pitcher than Jordan Montgomery. So I'm not really fond of the Giolito idea. I've seen some people throw it in there. Garrett Cole, we know, is going to be a very good pitcher. Great pitcher at that. Rodon, you don't know if he's bouncing back. Same thing with Nestor Cortez and Clark Schmidt. He could very well blend in that bunch and not be a difference maker and just be, oh yeah, they're being trash, so I'm going to be trash. Obviously not intentionally, but that's what could happen with Giolito. So I'm going to pass on him. I know I'm throwing out a lot of negative options, but maybe you guys disagree with me. That's what the comment section is for. Next, we're going to go to a guy who has not pitched in the major leagues yet. His name is Shota Imanaga, right? He is 30 years old, so he will add to the elderness of the Yankees rotation. Last year with Yokohama, in total in the Japanese league, 7-5, 2.66 ERA, 24 games, 188 strikeouts, and only 24 walks, 18 home runs. They, for some reason, Baseball References has it in two separate spots, but I guess they were counting something else. Maybe it was a tournament or something Yokohama did. But overall, in the 22 starts that they do list, 7-4, 2.8 ERA, total of 174 Ks, 24 walks, and 17 home runs. So essentially, it's, the stats I read before. But what are some traits about him? What's to know? So Forbes right now has him projected at a $16 million contract a year, 5 years, $80 million, which isn't bad, honestly. You look at his stats, it's not too much of a risk coming over. Like, that's more of the safe assertion coming over in the big leagues. Hey, he's going to do this, right? Yamamoto has the ceiling. You kind of know what Imanaga is. He gave 18 home runs in 2023, which isn't good, right? That's among his worst in his career. However, best K rate at 29.2 and best walk rate at 4%. That walk rate is the polar opposite of a guy in Blake Snell, and they're both southpaws. His pitches, fastball 59%, 91.8 miles an hour. Slider 16%, 81.5 miles an hour. Splitters 12%, 83.2 miles an hour. Curveball 7%, 73 miles an hour. Cutter 4%, 86.7 miles an hour. And changeup 2%, 81.5 miles an hour. The fastball is his best pitch. Then it's the slider, changeup, and then everything else that follows. One of the key cogs in this whole thing of miles an hour and the velocity is obviously he pitched about 91.8 in the regular season, but in the World Baseball Classic, he actually pitched at 93.5. They did use different baseballs. So as far as Imanaga goes, I think he's the best option I've listed thus far. $16 million, that's not a lot, 5 years. That's a pretty good price. And again, Imanaga compared to Yamamoto, safer pick, but he doesn't have the ceiling that Yamamoto does. So just some of the differences in there, but I would take Imanaga. I don't think it would be a bad option. I mean, you place him, it's very rare in the MLB nowadays. You have 3 southpaws in your rotation, but Imanaga, a 3-starter, and then Cortez, and then Schmidt, I'm okay with that heading into the season. So finally, we have one more guy to go over, and that is Dylan Cease. Now, this would be done via trade. Some, stats on him and all these other different things, right? So he is entering the second year of arbitration eligibility. He projected to earn about $8.7 million, which isn't bad. And he's a free agent following 2025 and heading into that offseason. So as far as some percentages go, 27.3 K percentage and a 10.1 walk percentage. Now, I think he's a little different than Lucas Giolito. I don't think he follows the trend as much. Like, this past year was the only year we had a win-loss record that was below 500, except for 2019. But for most of his career, he's been consistent in that form. But we want to talk about some of the uses of the pitches, how, hitters have done against those pitches. Four-seam fastball, 43.2%. Slider, 38.6%. Curveball, 15.2%. And changeup, 3%. Now you take a look at how hitters did against those pitches in 2023. Against the fastball, which is the main pitch, 8 home runs, 273 batting average, 69 strikeouts, whiff percentage of 20.5, 17.9 put away percentage. The slider, 119 strikeouts. Pretty good for a second pitch, 7 home runs. A batting average 216, pretty impressive. 43.3 whiff percentage, 23.1 put away percentage. Both highs in that area. Actually, the whiff percentage is a little bit more on the changeup, but that's the fourth most used pitch, so you're not really factoring that in. But curveball, before we get to changeup, the total of a 298 batting average, not great. 4 home runs given off of that, 23 strikeouts, put away percentage of 19.8, a whiff percentage of 24.9. And then changeup, as we mentioned, he only threw it 99 times, 111 batting average, 3 strikeouts, a whiff percentage of 53.8, and a put away percentage of 12. So some other factoids just to throw in there. In 2022, for starters, Cease's slider finished as the second most valuable pitch in baseball, only behind Shohei Ohtani's sweeper. 2023, his fastball dipped in speed a little bit, and he had a lot of break loss on his slider. And his double-digit career walk percentage, not great, but also he was one of the leaders in wild pitches in the MLB. Now, despite this, personally me, I would trade for Dylan Cease. I think him and Imanaga are both very good, and I think they fit the Yankees because I think Garrett Cole and his slider's pretty good. Dylan Cease, if he reworks a couple of things, I think he could be a pretty good darn pitcher for the Yankees, maybe even the 2 spot. I know I didn't reference his 2023 stats, and if I did, I apologize, but I'm going to go over it again. 7-9, 4.5 ERA, 214 Ks, 177 innings pitched, total of a 250 opposing average. Now, obviously, I'm going to take out 2019, which is his rookie year. 250 is the worst opposing average of his career, which actually is good. Last year was 190, 223 the year before that, and 2020, 234. So I think the Yankees should make a trade for Dylan Cease. I know a lot of people are saying, yeah, you got to give up the prospects and stuff like that. You're not giving up elite-level prospects like you would for Corbin Burns. Dylan Cease, last year kind of decreased his trade value, but you know what? Why not take the risk? There's a lot of questions on the rotation. Imanaga, obviously that's free agency. You're not really taking much of a risk. But take the risk with Cease. At least there's a ceiling there. Hey, he can improve his fastball a little bit. The amount of the amount of break on his slider. Maybe he could get that back up again. And I think this would be a good tool to reinvent and for Matt Blake to play with, right? I know he doesn't throw a sinker, but getting that slider back up, more velocity on his fastball, I don't mind it. So out of these 5 guys, I would take Imanaga or Dylan Cease. But tell me what you guys think. Which pitcher fits the New York Yankees? Which pitcher doesn't fit the New York Yankees? Would you make a trade? Would you not make a trade? Let me know in the comments section. Like, comment, subscribe. We are 5 subscribers away from the 1.7K mark. We appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon.